Okay. Ready, me. All right, so doing P6, still it's a review section that I saved for later. It's kind of its own separate thing. It's about graphing. It's pretty chill. You can check it out. Let's see here. There's an exam 1. We already finished all the material for exam 1. So it's unlocked. There's a review and a quiz to do, and exam. But the exam I think is open until October. I forget the date. Let me check. So 1.5 is the last section for test 1. Here I have a reference sheet, a practice test, and then the actual test. I believe, yeah, I put 28. So it'll be due next Thursday, but I can extend that if you need it. I would prefer you finish it by that day though. That way you don't fall behind. But if you need a little more wiggle room, just let me know. It's not a big deal. Just make sure you don't fall behind. So this is the stuff I want you to work on. You do have an option to do test correction, so write down. I have instructions in here. So if you decide to do test corrections, that'll be due a few days after. Let me edit this. Then I'll give some points back, but yeah, you have to show all your steps. Okay. So the corrections, I think this is what we'll do. Corrections would be due on the 3rd. Well, sorry. The 2nd, that'd be better. That way I can grade it on try to grade it on the 3rd. So take a test whenever. The latest 28th. And if you need to do corrections, you have till the 3rd to do so, or to the 2nd to do so. Okay. Does that answer all your questions on exams? Okay. All right, so let's talk about graphing. This should be pretty straightforward. Notice these are the points that are given. So let me go ahead and I'll use this instead. This new pen I'm going to try out. Figure that out what that is. All right. So right here we have the X and the Y. Right, it's always X first, and then the Y. Okay, can you guys still hear me okay? So I'm testing a different mic. Okay, cool. Right. It's a very fancy mic. Supposedly it follows me around the room, so testing it out. All right, so always X, Y first. So honestly, we should just graph it ourselves. Let's ignore the dots. So 6, 2 means we go out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then up 2. So this is one of them. 5, -4, you'd go down up to 5 and then down 4. So we should have another point here. So clearly A is wrong, right? Because it doesn't have 5, -4. B does not have 6, 2. That point's missing. So A and B are wrong. That makes sense so far? This is review, so it's supposed to be familiar. This one does not have 6, 2. So it has to be D, right? This process of elimination. Are you all comfortable applying points? Negatives or positives? Now, the only thing is, just remember this, it'll come up in pre-cal 2. This is quadrant 1, right? The name of it. We use Roman numerals for the quadrants. But we go counterclockwise. You see that? So it's always quadrant 1, 2, 3, 4. Quadrant 1, everything is plus. So if you remember that, then right away you should know that anything with a negative will not be in that section. Over here we have negative plus. Here we have double negatives for x and y. Oops. And for quadrant 4, we have plus and negative. Looks like little faces, right? This is okay, x, y, x, y. Just a reminder. Any questions on finding points? I don't want to spend too much time unless you don't remember, when we can talk about it some more. How do you feel about points? There's a review section, so let me know if is there any issues with any of the problems. Right? You can always go back anytime, let me know. Number 6, the point 3 units to the left of the y-axis and 2 units above the x-axis. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Okay. X-axis, y-axis, right? Horizontal is x, vertical is y. So a point that goes to the left 3 units and a left of the y-axis. Okay. So the y is right here. This is vertical line, right? And then above 2 units above the x-axis. So I'm understanding it goes to the left and then up 2. Right? 3 and up 2. But the x is always first. Y is second. So the point would be, right? What would be the point for number 7? Yeah, it says, let's see, 18 units to the left of the y. So, and oh, it's on the x-axis. Okay. So if I am on the x, that means it did not move up or down on the y, right? That would mean that the y has to be 0. And if if I'm going to the left of the x-axis, I'm going to the negative side, right? Going this way. So yeah. Whenever we intercept the x-axis, if we're on top of it, y has to be 0. That makes sense? Yes, cool on 6 and 7. Genius. Yeah, this will be better. Hopefully that works. Okay. Determine the quadrant. If your x is negative, but your y is positive, right? That's what this means. Where are we? We said on the earlier we wrote quadrant 1, they're both plus, right? Quadrant 2, we said this is negative, this is positive. Quadrant 3, they're both negative. So what do we have? This means negative x, positive y. Yeah, has to be 2. So what about 9? They're both negative. Has to be 3. Any questions on 8 or 9? Okay, let's do 10. Find the distance between 2 points. So here we need a formula. And it's kind of interesting. It's related to the hypotenuse. Now, you don't have to think about it that way, but that's where it comes from. So if we were to look at 2 points, let's just go ahead and graph it. I can show you. The points were -5, 16, And something 10 negative 4. Yeah. All right. So you can kind of see it already, but it's just, we're not gonna go in deep. I mean, the notes in the book prove it to you and explain where the distance formula comes from. But essentially what you do, you find the shortest distance between 2 points. You draw a triangle. That's a horrible triangle. And you find the answer to this side, the hypotenuse side. Does that make sense? So D, so shortest distance between the 2 points, or the distance between 2 points, we'll call it D. That's equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So this size over here is y2 minus y. This height, I guess. The base will be x2 minus x1. Oh, can't see anything? Let me see. Screen one. Can you see it now, the writing? So this whole time you've seen no writing. On the interesting. The nothing, okay. Shoot, this whole time I thought you were seeing everything you wrote. Darn it. So yeah, I'm trying to use new technology and there's some things to learn, I guess. Right now you see just the 2 points and that's it on the picture. That's okay, Victoria. I'm glad you told me now, but that is funny. How do I share this piece to you? Okay, right now you see nothing. Right now you still see just the 2 points, correct? Okay. So it appears this only works in person. So now you see the whiteboard, right? One second. Yeah, I'll have to figure that out later. I'm sorry. I will just go ahead and write it here. Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I was really want to show you this new tech they're making me learn how to use, but there is some issues to figure out. But anyway, that's okay. We are ahead of schedule anyway. Can you see this? Okay, this will work. I'll try this route for now. All right, let's start over. Let's pretend that didn't happen. So, distance of 2 points, right? This guy is -516. This one is 10, -4. So essentially, the way the distance formula is created, this is what it is. Square root x2 minus x1 plus y2 minus y1. Oops. Righty, delete. I do that. There. So this is basically your formula for hypotenuse. The x2 minus x1 is giving you the distance. Is giving you the length of this side over here. This side is x2 minus x1. This one is y2 minus y1. So if you subtract them, you get the two legs of the triangle. So if you square them and square root, you get the distance d. So that's where it comes from. You don't have to memorize all that. I just want you to see where it comes from. So all you got to do to solve it is plug it in. So x2. Let's call this, doesn't matter what you call which one, but just stay consistent. This is x1, y1, x2, y2. So x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus 16 squared. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's where it comes from. So what is this number? I don't know. 10 minus 5 is 10 plus 5. 4 minus 16 is -20. What is that distance? I don't know what that is. You gotta add them up first. What is 15 squared plus -20 squared? Then square root that value. Distance cannot be negative, so whenever that happens, double check. 35 sounds reasonable. . All right, let me check too. Because I don't know the answer. Let me calculate. 15 squared plus 20 squared is the same as negative 20 squared, so it'll be that square root of 625 should be 25. We do it properly. Right. The distance is 25. Any questions about this problem? All right, I'm gonna clear this notes here. All you need is this formula here. Plug that in, you'll be good. No big deal. So for this one, you would use the same formula. We don't need all the theory, but it's good to know where it comes from. Make sure, so I always recommend to label them, that way you won't mess it up. It's always hard to keep track of everything in your head. So we know the formula is x2 minus x1 plus y2 minus y1, which will give us x2 is 0 minus 8 plus y2 minus y1, 20 minus 5. What's 15 squared again? I don't remember. You guys' calculator time. 225. So square root this value. Oops. The square root 64 plus 25. What do you get? Cool. Everybody agree with 17? All right, I'm moving on then. You guys cool on 10, 11? Can you calculate distance of 2 points? All right. Use this. All right, so let's move on to a different topic. Looks like 10 through 14 is just find distance of 2 points. 15 wants you to plot 2 points. Notice how there are decimals, so just give it your best shot. This is kind of close to 17, negative 17. This is halfway between 11 and 12, right? Doesn't have to be perfect. They actually kind of plot it for you, so you're good. Let's see what these word problems are all about. Excuse me. It's 18, and it looks like 17. Airplane flies from city A to city B, which is 60 kilometers north and 170 kilometers west. Okay. Apparently don't know how to do that, but let's think about it. Let's figure it out. If it's ridiculous, then we'll consider removing it. Sometimes they are insane. But let's think about it. So airplane flies in a straight line from A to B. All right. How far does a plane travel? Oh, okay. Man, such a strange way to put it, but okay. I see how to do it now, but let me try to visualize it for you. These two values are basically your x2 minus y, x2 minus x1 and y2 minus y1. That's all that is. They've already know the distances, so you don't have to subtract. Just plug them straight into the formula. But as far as visual drawing goes, righty. So I'm picturing it flying like this. From A to B. West of city A. Okay. West would be the other way, so 1 second. We're going west. All right, something more like this. I mean, this isn't necessary, but I just kind of want to picture it in my head. They want to know this distance, but we are 170 kilometers west of here. 170. And 60 kilometers north. So this is what I'm thinking they're saying. So find the hypotenuse. That's it. That makes sense? Is it kilometers north and 170 kilometers west of city A. So D would simply be this. Any questions on 17? Good. Let me move on to 18 then. You guys are cool? I'll delete that in a second. A soda company has had sales of 35. Wow, that's a lot of money. 35,149 millions. This is how many millions? That's insane. Okay. And 45.994 2014. Okay. Got it. Well, they are a soda company, so that makes sense. Ridiculous, but whatever. I probably would use billions instead, but. So they want us to use the midpoint formula. We haven't talked about that, but if you read the book or saw the notes and videos, then you should know what that is. Midpoint. Pretty obvious. To just find the amount of cells, because the midpoint of 2010 and 2014 is 2012, right? If we assume that 2010 is year 0, then 10 would be out here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 14. 2001, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this right here is 2010. This right here is 2014. So the middle is here, right? That's what they want to know. So the Y values are your money. Just add them together and divide by 2. That should give you the Y value, which would be in the middle of both those times, both those years. Does that make sense? So I only need this part if all they care about is the money. So it would be 35,149 plus 45994 divided by 2. Whatever that is. That'd be in millions, so that'll go here. Any questions on the last question or last problem on 18? What is it? Number 18? Anyone know what that amount is? Because I don't. Yeah. And it says, does it say around? Does not. So I'd probably just, and I'd probably put it as it is. See what happens. There should be some tolerance built in. Anyway. Any questions on E6? Can you plot points? Can you find distance of 2 points? Can you find a midpoint? Can you okay. Let's look at circles. Okay. So for your notes, you're going to need this right here. This is the standard form for an equation of a circle. Okay. So if they give you a center, HK will be the center. So if they give you the point, then the opposite sign would go here. See how they have a negative built in? So if these are negative, they would end up canceling out because they'd have a negative and become positive. If they're positive, they would turn into negative when you plug them in because of that built-in negative into your formula. That makes sense. It's kind of like the parabola vertex, same deal. Now, for this circle equation, any point on the circle is considered to be a solution. Okay. And in order for it to be a solution, you plug in a point, and you get the same thing on both sides. You get equality. That's what a solution means, right? So if they ask you, determine if it lies on the graph, they're asking, okay, well, is it a solution to this equation here? If it's a solution, then yeah, it's on the graph. But if it's not, then no. If you're comfortable with graph, you should be able to tell me right away, is this point on the graph or no? And if not, let's just plug it in, right? We don't have to think too hard. X is 2, y is 0. Y is 0. X is 2. So this is 4 minus 6 plus 2. Do I get the same thing on both sides? Is 0 equal to 0? So when you get equality, that means it is a solution, which means it's a point on the graph. All the same thing. The same thing here. Plug this guy in and see if it's also on there or not. You could graph it and then just check, but this is the way to work it out. Any questions on 6? Plug it in. Oops. Looks weird. If we get the same thing on both sides, great. This is 4 minus 6 plus 2. Oh, wait. Is that equality? So what does that mean, right? That means this point is not on the graph because it is not a solution. Yeah. Not too bad, right? You guys have any questions before I move on? Next question. Okay. Number 7 is the same deal. Just plug it in and find out. Let's move on to something else. 8 and 9 is talking about circles, finally. So this center is HK. This is HK. This is R. So we just need the standard form. The formula, we should be good. We said it was X minus H, Y minus K equal to R squared. So plug it in. This one's a little easier because there's zeros. So the formula would be this. Are there any issues with number 8? That's what they want. Do the same thing one more time. So here, notice we got a double negative. So that will simply be x plus 6 plus y minus 4 equal to 9. So this is the standard form of the circle. But if they give you a center and a radius, it should be no problem to get the equation of a circle. Any questions or concerns with 8 and 9? Okay. The hard part is when you have to complete the square in order to find the standard form. The easy part is when you just plug it into the formula and you're good. So this is not too bad, I hope. The harder part is I think coming up next. Here's the same stuff. 11 and 12 is a little more interesting. Because they don't give us radius. We have HK. We have a random x1, y1. So we know it's x minus h plus y minus k. Looks horrible, sorry. So if we plug everything in, we can solve for r. Do you see that? This would be kind of like my x1, y1. So just plug it all in and see what happens. So find R, plug in the center and a point. Once you do that, you only have one unknown left. So there we go. Plug in -10 minus h squared plus 13 minus k equal to r. So this will become -12 squared plus, that's a 5, right? Yeah. This will be, do you agree? 169? For both sides, yeah, it's 169. You get R equal to 13. Technically is plus or minus. Technically, but radius will always be taken as positive. But once you have it, the answer will be that they want x minus 2 plus y minus 8. Are there any questions about 11? You have to do it this way when you only have a solution point. So 12 would be the same thing. Let's do it the same way. Thirteen is a little more involved. Do you see how you would approach this? So we have two endpoints of a circle. So they're, if we find the distance between them, we would have the diameter, right? Because it says the endpoints of a diameter. So if I get a distance, then I'll know the size of the diameter. And we all know that half the diameter is radius, right? So once we have that, we could figure out the rest. So first things first, find the center. Let's do this one on paper. This is a lot of little details. Okay, so we have two endpoints of a circle. Oh, sorry, I should say diameter, sorry. Two endpoints of a diameter of a circle. So the endpoints are 4, 2, and -8, -6. So the diameter in this case would be equal to the distance between them. So we can call this x1, y1, x2, y2. No matter. If you switch them around, doesn't really matter as long as you remain consistent when you plug it in. You'll be good. Just don't switch it around midway, right? That would mess it up. That would cause problems. So -8 -4 plus -6 minus a -8. Then it'll be +8, right? -6 +8. So that would be 144 plus 4, right? Double check everything. Here's my mistake. Be -6 minus 2, right? Put 8 twice. So that'll be this. You guys agree? Looks good to me. Will it contain any perfect squared numbers?
Don't laugh at my life.
Sorry. Keep pranking me at the door. 16 times 13, right? 16 goes in 208. What I'm saying. So this is my diameter.
Hello?
Oh, what's What's up, Steven? You guys okay so far? Let me know. So radius. That's distance. Radius is equal to diameter over 2, which is half. So divide this guy by 2. So 2 root 13 is my radius. It's not very pretty, but that's what it is. So we have the radius. There's a couple of ways to do this. How would you find the answer? We need to use this formula, but what would you do? What do we still need to finish this? We're trying to find, we need the center and the radius, right? We've just got the radius by using the diameter to our advantage. So how would you find the center, giving all this information and having the radius? Well, let's graph it. Maybe this will help. We have 2 points that are on the diameter, correct? So picture these two opposite edges of your circle. How would you find the center? You agree that the center is in the middle of these 2 points? They're on the edges of the circle. The center has to be right in the middle. So the center would be found using the midpoint formula, because that gives you the one in the middle, right? Does that make sense? So use the midpoint formula. Find the center. Since you have the 2 points on the diameter. So center in this case, only in this case, is equal to the midpoint. Which is equal to x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2, uh, 4, oops, 4 plus -8 is -4, 2 plus -6 is -4. So we get -2, -2. This is HK. Let's plot it and see if it's true. I don't know. Maybe I messed it up. It's right in the middle, right? It's like it. So if our circle goes around these red and blue and red points, center will be here. So that's HK. Does that make sense? Why we did did that? Now the question can be answered. X minus h plus y minus k equals r squared, so that'll be x minus a -2 plus y minus a -2 equal to that weirdo number 2√13. That's what it was. Yeah. So this is the circle that they wanted. X plus 2 plus y plus 2 equal to square both of these factors here. Be 4 times 13. It's 4 times 13. 70, is that 72? This is what they wanted. This is a little harder to do because it gives us very minimal information. The easiest one is when they give you a center and a radius, you're good to go. If they give you a center and a point, there's a little bit more work. If all they give you is the edges of a circle of a diameter, then there's a lot of work to do. It's kind of like when we were solving for lines and finding slope. You remember doing all that stuff? Same kind of deal. Any questions on 13? I know that was a little more involved in the last, than all the other questions. Okay, let me know. There's no rush here, so it's all good. And I'm going to reopen most of these for next week. All right, let's keep going. So looking at this equation, this time they're giving me the standard form. What is the center? But they gave us everything right. All that information is right here. So reading this, can you tell me the center? Oops, that should be H. Dang it. So if you remember the standard form, x minus h plus y minus k equal to r squared. R is the radius, so if they give you a number, you get a square rooted. So we said that the center is always HK. So it's always opposite of whatever's in here. So if we have a -1, H has to be positive. K is 2, so it has to be negative. Okay. That makes sense? So what is R? Radius. No, R squared is 9, so R has to be 3. Does that make sense? Is there any questions on this problem? Radius is right there. Radius would mean go out 3 in every direction, so 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So my circle is going around here. Something like that. All right. Well, they gave us r squared right here, right? So r squared is 9, so you have to square root both sides. So whatever is given, the square root will be the radius. Any other questions on this problem? Okay. Same thing here, so we'll move on. Okay. We didn't talk about symmetry, but I think it's pretty obvious with circles. X symmetry means you can fold it on the X and get the same stuff on both sides. So if you go this way, it's perfect symmetry, right? Okay, if you fold it in half, you have equal sides. Y-axis, right? It's a circle, so it should be perfectly foldable this way too. Origin means you can fold it this way from here to here. So I'm like, yeah, should be good. Symmetry about the line equals to 1. Well, the line equal to 1 would be here. So shitty line. I would say no because it's not in the middle. But unless I moved it, it would not. Okay. You guys have any questions about homework? I'm gonna go ahead and open all your homeworks. Since I'll be